Hey everybody, how is it going today? Well, there is no trading today because it's President's Day, so in this video I'm just going to go over some of our current positions and give you my thoughts on how they're playing out. Plus, as always, after that I am going to go over some other nice looking charts that could potentially have big gains this week.
Now, if you're new to my channel, I like to invest and trade in typically lower price stocks and talk about all other things finance related as well. If that's something that interests you, please consider subscribing so you don't miss any future trading or investing ideas. But please remember, I am not a financial advisor, so please do all of your own research before investing in any of these stocks.
All right, guys, I'm going to get right into it because we have a ton of charts to go over. The first one I want to go over is SENS Holdings, ticker symbol SENS. We can see that this one still looks super bullish. I expect this one to be up this next week because this is an absolutely perfect looking consolidation that is poised to break out. So I am very happy with our SENS Holdings, and I'm expecting good things this week. The next one I want to go over is CSLT. CSLT turned around at the end of the day yesterday. This one, for whatever reason, is having a tough time breaking out. I mean, I expected this one to have broken out many days ago, but I'm still holding on because I'm still up in this position, but I am running out of patience. The chart still looks super good, but for whatever reason, it is finding a ton of resistance right around $2. It had this big turnaround day on Friday, so not as optimistic on this one as I was on Sensionics, but I am still going to sit tight. I'm going to be a little bit more patient with this one because we still have good volume coming in, so I am anticipating a breakout. We did have this failure a couple of weeks ago, but it got right back above the 8-period exponential moving average, so for whatever reason, it just cannot bust through $2. But usually when a stock does this, it's finding a ton of resistance at a certain price level. If it does push through it, it's usually a pretty good move up. So despite this taking a long time to get through, $2 a share, I think if it does get through this week, it could be a nice explosive move. So I'm still sitting tight on CSLT and optimistic, even though Friday's bar was pretty disappointing. Next one I want to go into is HNRG, and I've been holding this one for quite a while as well, but this one is looking a little bit better. I bought this one on the first pullback back about a month or so ago. I guess it's been that long. And it had looked like it was busting out about a week or so ago when it had this huge gap up, but it couldn't find any more momentum. But if we zoom in just a little bit, it looks like it's finding support at that 8-period exponential moving average, and it's only just a few cents away from a breakout. So hopefully we get that breakout this week because HNRG looks pretty bullish from these last couple of days price action. So HNRG, I am much more optimistic about that one. Let's go into another one that I've been holding on to for way too long. I think I bought this one about a month ago as well on this breakout. Unfortunately, that's when the market went into the correction. Actually, it was just a down big for a couple of days. It wasn't technically a correction, but it dragged SYN down with it, and SYN looked like it was busting out a couple of days ago, but it also got dragged down by that massive sell-off we had a couple of days ago, and it is struggling to get going again. It is holding above $1 just barely, and that's the support level. We draw a little support line there. We can see there's been a lot of tops right around $1, and it's barely holding above it, and that's also where the 8-period exponential moving average is. So I'm holding on to SYN. I am optimistic about this one, but this one is starting to wear on my patience as well. Let's get into NAKD. Talked about this one a couple of days ago on the breakout. Some of you guys might be holding this. Man, it had that big gap up just a couple of days ago, and it immediately sold off. So this one is kind of disappointing as well, but it is holding that 8-period exponential moving average. I am down just a little bit, and I think my average cost is about $1.50. So down just slightly in this one. The chart still looks bullish, so I'm still optimistic on NAKD. This one could be heading up in the next couple of days because the chart does look good, so this is right at a potential buy signal. So if any of you guys did not get into this and you want to, now is the time because it's right at that 8-period exponential moving average. Hopefully it can hold it this week and start to move higher. Let's go into another one that I am holding It is Solo. Now, Solo has also been disappointing. Unfortunately, that's the going to be the trend for some of these stocks. I mean, they still look bullish, but I expected better price action in the last several weeks, and we're just not getting it. Solo looks like it tried to break out a couple of times, and for whatever reason, it just keeps selling off. Now, there's other stocks in this group like FUV, IDX, a couple other ones, AYRO, that are very strong. And for whatever reason, I picked Solo instead of going with all of those. I kind of narrowed it down, and Solo is the only one that is underperforming. Some of those other stocks have had great moves. I expected Solo to do the same thing, but they are not doing it. Now, Solo is continuing to make that rounding bottom, but it is testing the lower ends of this channel, which is concerning. If you slap a trend line on this and then just draw a parallel line, a channel line, you can see that it is testing the lower ends of that resistance level, of that trend line. And if it breaks through this trend line channel, I think I'm probably going to cut this one loose. So this one has been very disappointing because there's been some big gains in some of those other EV stocks. And Solo is not participating in them, unfortunately. So if any of you guys are holding Solo and you're worried about breaking out or breaking down below this rounding bottom, I'm with you, because I think if it breaks this channel, actually, I'm going to probably give it a little bit more slack, because if it breaks that 50-period simple moving average and stays below it, I'm going to be out no matter what. But Solo, for the moment, I am still in. But if it gets going tomorrow and jumps right back above these moving averages, then this is just a test of this lower channel, and it's actually a buying opportunity. And it hasn't been selling off on big volumes, so it wouldn't surprise me if it does find support at this channel and start to head towards the upper end of the channel. But still holding on to Solo. Next one I want to go over is SLRX. I actually sold, and I still have some of the lines drawn. I actually sold a little bit of this, slightly over $3, sold half of my position off. The stock retraced after this huge move up, but it found support at the 8-period exponential moving average. So that is a great sign, and this could be just, the bottom of this first pullback, because it wouldn't surprise me one bit with how strong SLRX has been if it doesn't just take out this old high in the next coming week or so. But let's get to CSCW. Some of you guys are holding this one because I've had a bunch of questions on this one. This one is still strong. And by moving out on the chart a little bit, you can see how nice that rounding bottom is. We've had a ton of volume pouring into this one, so I expect this one to be strong. And it is following that 8-period exponential moving average up very nicely. So CSCW, very happy with how this one is going. I think I'm in this one for about 91 cents. So doing pretty good on CSCW. I expect this trend to accelerate in the next couple of days, hopefully, because this sector has been building up momentum. Let's go to INUV. INUV has been a little bit disappointing. I expected more of a blast up, but we have had some selling come into the market before Friday, so there's been some pressure on some of these stocks, but it gapped down and it reversed, and it closed above that 8-period exponential moving average, so that is a great reversal signal. If we go intraday, let's go to the 15-minute chart. If we go intraday, we can see it is starting to round up, so that is a very good sign. It's probably going to bust out of this little down channel and head higher hopefully this week. Let's go back to the daily. I would expect this one to jump back above the 8-period exponential moving average and start moving higher, but there's a lot of strength in INUV. Let's go into NDRA, which is very similar to INUV, very similar pattern. And this one had an even better day on Friday, so this one definitely looks like it's going to be headed higher. Hopefully we are going to be testing the old highs right around $3 soon, because this is a very bullish pattern, and hopefully we get some follow through from Friday's strength and start testing that old high. So I'm very optimistic with NDRA. Another one we are holding is, actually I am holding it, I don't know if anybody else in the Patreon is holding it, is Barnes & Noble. Now, Barnes & Noble had a reversal at the end of the day on Friday, which was kind of concerning. It hit that hold high, and it sold off all the way into the close. Let's go to the 5-minute chart. But this one just rolled over. I thought for sure it was going to be breaking past this old high, and for whatever reason, selling came in and it knocked this sucker down. This thing just closed off consistently in the last couple hours of the day with no let up. So I am a little concerned with Barnes and Noble, but it's still a great looking pattern. I think if it gaps up on tomorrow, which is Tuesday, if it gaps up on Tuesday, this thing could be off to the races because momentum is building up into Barnes and Noble pretty strongly. Now let's go to the last one. This one is NMTR. And MTR is still holding up very nicely, 9 meters biopharma. This one is still holding up very nicely. It's consolidating right at these upper levels. So I think this one is poised to break to another high. It hasn't been having a lot of follow throughs. It kind of breaks up and then it pulls back for a couple of days on pretty weak. And then it jumps up again and then it pulls back slightly. So I think this one has probably got a little bit more of a trend acceleration in its future because I think once this thing really gets going, there's probably not going to be any holding back on NMTR, so because this is a very bullish looking pattern. But those are some of our current holdings. Let me get into some of the charts that I'm looking at to trade for this week. All right, well, the first one I want to talk about is SHIPS, SHIPZ. Now, this one is only 19 cents, so it is a lot more speculative than some of the other ones I'm going to go into, but I wanted to show you this one first because it is looking like it is in the beginning stages of the move up, and some of these stocks have been very, very strong in this sector. I believe it was Joe from the Patreon had been talking about this sector, and if we look into some of the other ones, SB has been super strong. Safe Bulkers, that would have been a great pickup. That was the one I was looking at when Joe was talking about them in the Patreon. I should have bought it. But we look at DSX. That one is performing super strong, and some of these are really starting to explode. So that's one of the reasons why I'm showing you SHIPS first, because I think SHIPS could follow suit. Another one is TOPS. You can see all of these things are really starting to gain momentum. So SHIPS is probably number one on my list. I want to look into that one a little bit more. When stocks are trading, under a quarter, I like to give them a little bit more of a look because it's a little bit more of a risk. When you get down that low, they're a lot more speculative. So, but I think SHIPS is at the top of my list for this week. Some of the other stocks in the oil and gas sector that are looking super good is WTI. WTI is actually just breaking out of that consolidation, that triangle consolidation, busted through that resistance level, and it came right back down and is testing that area on Friday. So as of right now, WTI is currently at a buy area as far as I am concerned. So WTI, I think that could be a great play for this week. Another one is SWN, Southwestern Energy. Southwestern Energy is making a similar type pattern. Nice rounding bottom. It's coming down, is testing that last support level, and it's bouncing up off of it. So as far as I'm concerned, SWN is also right at a good looking buy point as we speak. Another one I want to go over is NBY. Look at NBY. The thing is rounding up at the moment. Had another little hook up and is right now it is sitting at the 8-period exponential moving average. So a very light volume pull back into a bullish flag, and it is testing that old resistance level, which is now support, and it is holding that 8-period exponential moving average. So if we get some follow through on tomorrow on NBY, I think this one could be a good mover for next week. But the follow through on these stocks could be very fast, so you got to be paying attention. But NBY looks super good. Another one I want to go over is EXK. EXK is actually a silver stock, but had a nice rounding bottom, and it is finding support at that 8-period exponential moving average and is starting to move higher. It had that big gap up when the Reddit crew was running silver, but everything fell back down, but now it is picking up strength, and you can see the volume has been picking up even after that little Reddit debacle or whatever you want to call it. But EXK looks super strong, and it wouldn't surprise me one bit if this thing is busting over $5.80 and heading into new high ground next week. Next one I want to show you is actually one that the Studio in the Patreon bought. I believe he bought. He was at least talking about it. This thing is still finding some support at the 8-period exponential moving average. It is BXRX, and I wouldn't be a bit surprised if this thing blasts right up to that 200-period simple moving average right around $2.50. So you're looking at probably a 30% move or so that could be coming in the next week or so. But BXRX is looking really bullish. It's holding those highs and it's finding support at that 8-period exponential moving average. So if we get a nice bullish candle hooking up after this, I think that 200-period simple moving average is going to be an easy first target on this one. Next one I want to talk about is one I talked about on a couple other videos. XTNT. I am sorry, trying to get through this quick because I'm running out of time. XTNT is starting to hook up as well. It's finding support at that 8-period exponential moving average, and it looks like it's starting to just get into that trend acceleration phase. So XTNT, they are in the medical device sector, and I think this one could be a good winner in the next week or two because momentum is definitely building up in this one. Next one I want to go over is GSAT. I get a ton of comments on my videos about this stock. And I guess for good reason because this thing looks super strong after Friday's big day that it closed up on huge volume or on good strength. I'm sorry, the volume was slightly below average, but the volume has been rising quite a bit over the last couple of days. But is a very strong day technically speaking. So GSAT, I think, could be busting through this $3 in the next day or two because this is a super strong looking candle, and it only pulled back just a couple of days, and it didn't take long for it to turn right back around and get bought up. So GSAT is definitely one worth looking at, and like I said, there's been a ton of questions about this on my channel, so there's obviously a lot of interest in this stock, and nowadays that is all you need for stocks to be taking off. So GSAT definitely worth keeping on your list. Next one I want to go over is AZRX. Jump AZRX. Let's do this. There we go. AZRX, they are in the biotech sector, and this one is holding the highs very well. It's still finding support at that 8-period exponential moving average, so I wouldn't surprise me one bit if this one starts reaching out towards the old highs right around $2.64 in the next week or two. Just a very, very strong looking pattern, and if it can hold above that 8-period exponential moving average, make another nice looking candle right around here, I think we could easily be testing the old highs on AZRX. Another one I want to talk about is kind of disappointing because I brought this up on other videos, maybe 2 or 3 videos ago, and I did not buy it. It was one of my favorites, but I just lost track of it, and we can see this one is absolutely exploding higher, finding support at that 8-period exponential moving average that I love and starting to hook up, and now it is exploding to new high ground. So if any of you guys did buy AIKI, congratulations. Unfortunately, I am not going to be on the ride with you. I should have been because I loved this chart pattern. This was absolutely one of my favorites that day. I remember this one quite well. But AIKI looking super good. Another one I want to go over is DLNG. DLNG is also in the oil and gas sector, and this one is just starting to come out the other side of the rounding bottom. Has been wrestling around with this 200-period simple moving average and all the other ones the last couple of weeks, but it looks like it's finally ready to break out. And I think if this thing can break above $3 a share, and it's knocking on the door right now, if it can break above $3 a share and hold it, this one could be off to the races, testing this old high right around $4 a share. So a lot of nice looking upside on this one, and if you do buy this one on the breakout, it's very easy stop loss. Put it right below this support level, just below these moving averages, so you have a very easy stop loss set in place. You have a lot of little areas of support that it has to break through. It has to break through all these to get to your stop, and that's what you want. Many layers in between your stop where it could potentially rebound. That's how you protect your stop loss, and DLNG has a lot of them that are very close to the price. So not only Do you have a lot of support in between, but it's not very far away from the price as of right now anyway, so you're not risking a lot either. But just a great looking chart on DLNG. Last one I want to go over is ADIL. ADIL broke through that resistance. I talked about this one a couple of videos ago. Busted through that resistance and is making a nice bullish flag just above that 8-period exponential moving average. So if this thing can hook higher and bust over $3.25, making a nice bullish looking candle like it did here, I think we're definitely going to be headed towards the old highs that it had right around $4 a share.
All right, well, that's all I have for this video, so I'm going to end it right there. But if you have any questions about any of these stocks, or if you want me to look at any other stocks, please leave them down there in the comments section, and I will try to get to it the next video. If you enjoyed the content, please hit the like button for the YouTube algorithm, and please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching my video all the way to the end, and until next time, take care, everybody.